Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So I think we can all agree that right now is perhaps the worst time to be trying to buy a vehicle, right? So between the shortages and new supply to the extremely high prices of used vehicles, which they go hand in hand, right? And it's just, it's so difficult to buy a new vehicle, and let alone a TRD Pro, a harder to find exclusive vehicle is dang near impossible to get one at MSRP. As you guys know, I just paid over sticker for my 2021 Ford Raptor 37 package. I paid $7,000 over a sticker for that. And that is something I would normally have never, ever even considered doing. But, the market does require it right now if you're going to get it without waiting a ton of time to build one, okay? So extremely difficult to get a new vehicle at a good price, nowhere near as easy as it was back in the day. And when I say back in the day, really just like a year and a half ago, right? So, but all this to say, now is the best time to actually sell your vehicle. So on the same coin, if you're trying to buy one, you got to maximize the dollar that you're going to get for yours. So I'm going to give you my tips and tricks that I've always used. And I've done a video like this, similar video to this in the past. But now I'm going to give you kind of a little bit more of a recent look from my perspective. Take it for what it's worth. So hopefully this helps some of you if you're in the market to sell your vehicle and or buy a new vehicle and try to maximize how much you get for your trade-in, okay? So step one, anybody can do this, and this is what I've done. The last 2 or 3 vehicles that I've had, go on to Vroom.com or Carvana. I typically get better offers from Vroom, at least in my experience with my vehicles that I've had. Go on to Vroom and get their offer. You plug in your VIN number. And be honest about the condition of the vehicle. If it's jacked up in some shape or form, be honest about it, of course. But in my case, I have always had pretty new vehicles for the most part, right? So it's always easy for me to say, hey, excellent condition, because they all have been, as you guys know. So with that, I've always gotten really good offers from Vroom on paper. So I think, for instance, I gotten 62 something as an offer for my Lunar Rock 4Runner TRD Pro, my 2021. It only had 3,000 some change miles on it, so still very much new. But even that's technically $7,000 over MSRP already. So that is the market. And Vroom is a very good indicator of what the market is like, because they are, they're looking at the auctions of how much they can auction off a vehicle. They have a very good climate assessment of what the market value is going to be for your vehicle. Sorry guys, if you hear a chainsaw, I don't always come out here and do videos, but when I do, there's a chainsaw somewhere out on a golf course. Probably a leaf blower. Alrighty. Well, so get your offer from Vroom. Go on Vroom's website, do that. It's super quick. Within 24 hours, they tend to have an emailed offer to you. And if that isn't good enough for you, and I encourage you to not stop there, get the offer, and then that becomes a part of your arsenal, if you will. So now you are locked and loaded with this offer in writing from Vroom, and most dealerships, credible dealerships, will honor an offer from Vroom. Same with Carvana, because they're becoming big dogs nowadays in today's market, in today's world. So you print off your offer, or have it on your phone, of course, and then I encourage you to go to CarMax next. So try to find the next, or the nearest CarMax by you, and go there, and of course, make sure your vehicle's looking nice. Go there and get an offer from them in writing. It doesn't really do you any good to show them the Vroom offer. I always do, but as history has shown for me, that doesn't really do me much good, because they're very much a regimented process as well, whereas they just get the pulse of the market and do auction looks and all that. So they're very similar to Vroom in that regard. But you're getting yourself another in-writing offer, a very quick one. You're there, you leave it there for not even a half hour. They do their inspection review of it, and they give you a written offer. So between the two of those, you take your higher offer. Sometimes it's CarMax, sometimes it's Vroom. More often than not, I think Vroom, in my personal experience anyway. But then you take that to some of your surrounding, in my case, Toyota dealerships. And it doesn't have to be the same manufacturer as your vehicle. So so I could have technically gone to a Ford dealership with my 4Runner TRD Pro, my Tundra TRD Pro, because they all should want to try to get inventory on their lot, especially if it's a desirable vehicle like I had, the Tundra TRD Pro and the 4Runners. They know that too. But you are likely going to have the best luck with your manufacturer, of course. So in my case, I went to the local Toyota dealerships and I brought them the offer. Said, hey, listen, this is the The Vroom offer that I have on the table, I just want to pop in and see if you guys are willing to beat it. And purposely don't go in there, don't sit down, don't waste your time. Make it known, like, hey, just want to pop in really quick. I'm going to let them know that you're going to be going to multiple dealerships. Tell them that, so they know that, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket and trying to get them to give you a better offer. So they know that you're very serious and that you're smart when it comes to selling your vehicle. You're not just going to look at one place and consider it done. So that puts more ante on them to A, beat the offer, and then B, of course, try to give you, even a substantial amount over that Vroom offer to actually get you to say yes right then and there. So you don't actually drive off the lot again and go down the road to the next Toyota dealership. So that has always worked very well for me. And honestly, I think I've done that twice. So I've done it, what I mean by that is I've actually driven to the dealership and said, hey, here's my offer. You can feel free to give it a look. And those are, no kidding, the dealerships right down the road from me that I did that with. But I would also send, and I encourage you perhaps to even do this first. So forgive me, I'm kind of thinking through this as I'm doing the video for you. Call up dealerships. Call up dealerships around the state and perhaps even start outward and work your way inward. So that way, let me explain what I mean by that. So call like dealerships furthest away from you, maybe a state or two over or furthest away in the state, and say, hey, this is a vehicle I have. Take 24 photos of your vehicle or more. Take a ton of detailed photos of it. Have it on your camera roll on your phone. Go ahead and write up in a notes section on your in your phone. Pull up your own note tab, write up all the details on the vehicle, write the VIN number, of course, the exact mileage. If there's any chips or cracks or whatever, put a detailed message on the actual condition of the vehicle. Have it all pre-written. So when you call that dealership and say, hey, I'm trying to maximize my trade-in value or try to maximize the amount that I'm trying to sell my vehicle for, would you guys be interested? And right now is a very rare time in history where most dealerships will say, yes, hey, yeah, we do want your vehicle. We want more, better inventory on our lot. Absolutely. What can we do to get it? So now it's a kind of a unique time in history. Like I said, and this video may not be applicable a year or 2 years down the road from now, but right now it absolutely is. So you message them, and once they say yes, or once you call them and ask them, you ask for their used car sales manager for the record. So you call them, say, hey, is there a used car sales manager there? And they'll say yes. So get you connected to them and say, hey, I know this isn't typically what the phone calls you have, but I have in my case, a 2021 4Runner TRD Pro in Lunar Rock with only 3,000 miles on it. I have a couple offers on hand, but I just wanted to see if you guys would be interested in trying to buy it from me and beat their offers, of course. And like I said, if you present it in a very nice way, more often than not, they'll say, hey, yeah, no, that sounds like something I'd want to entertain. When can you swing by? You're always going to get that. They're always going to ask you, when can you pop in? Can you pop in tomorrow? Can you be in here this afternoon? They always want to get you in the seat. So that tactic never changes from them, whether you're buying from them or they're buying from you. That doesn't change. They always want to get you in the seat because then they know that they have you. So you want to say, hey, no, unfortunately, I'm 2 hours away, but I heard good things about your dealership. If you don't mind, I'm happy to send you multiple photos of it. A couple dozen on my phone here, that I just took. They're detailed photos, and of course, it only has blank and blank miles, so it's pretty low. So you can imagine the condition. No accidents, of course, and here's the VIN number. So you send them your pre-canned message that you already drafted up in your notes section on your phone. Copy and paste it because you're going to be sending a few more. And while they're getting back to you, you send a bunch of your photos and stuff. While they're getting back to you, use that time and call another dealership. Have the same exact conversation with them. Same exact conversation. Say, looking to sell it, blah, 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 blah. Send them all the photos. Let them know that you're too far away just to make a drive up there for a maybe. And if you're going to make the drive, you want it to be for a sale. Because on top of that, you're going to have somebody drive up there with you, right, to be your ride back home if you're just selling it. So you can let them know that. Say, hey, unfortunately, I don't want to waste my time or your time. Always say that. Say, I don't want to waste your time either. If you don't mind, I'll send you a bunch of photos, and if there's any surprises when I get there, then we can maybe talk different numbers. However, can I do this? And they'll be open to it, I bet. So hopefully you've called a number of dealerships all around the area. And as they're getting back to you, hopefully you'll start getting offers, come back in, say, hey, yeah, no, we'll beat it by $500. We'll beat Vroom, because you'll likely need to screenshot that and send it to them. And they'll say, yeah, I'll beat it by 500. And then before you know it, you might have 2 or 3 of the 10 dealerships that you called offered back saying, yes, we'll beat it, and we'll beat it by 500 or 700 or 1,000. You take the best one, and then I encourage you to go to your local dealership. Go to your local dealership, the one that's convenient for you, and say, hey, listen, those guys up there and such, I'm just up the road a couple hours. They're willing to offer this for it. I figured you'd be much more convenient. You're just up the road from me. Heard great things about your dealership. Would you consider buying from me, kind of thing? And then, at least in my experience, they tend to say, yeah, you know what, maybe we're not able to beat it, however, we'll match it. But you always want to ask them if they'll beat it. Are you willing to beat this offer before I drive up an hour north? And then they'll likely say, no, but we'll match it and make it convenient for you. So that's the position that you'll find yourself in. So there you have it. I know it's pretty simple when I vocalize it out loud, but if you make it a little bit more of a process and you kind of, for lack of better terms, you pin the dealerships against each other. I mean, they do it to you, right? So pin them against each other and see who's willing to be the highest bid. And if you're looking to trade in for a particular vehicle, if you have your heart set on one vehicle, that's at maybe a local dealership or even a dealership afar, leave them for last, of course. So look elsewhere, get all the buy offers, purchase offers, and all those offers from the other dealerships, and then go to the dealership that you have your heart set on a vehicle and say, hey, listen, just up the road, I got 3 other offers. They're willing to do this much. Are you willing to at least match them so I could buy your vehicle here? And then you're putting them in a position they have to say yes at that point, or at least they don't have to, of course, but they're gonna at least consider it much more. Because I have seen people fall victim to the whole, hey, you get the tax credit. So every state has a different sales tax, of course, right? I think in Maryland here it's 6%. In Washington, I think it was 8 or 9%. So sometimes that is really high. So dealerships start using that against you. Like, hey, we're giving you a tax credit by taking your trade in for $50,000. We're saving you, blah, 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 on taxes. In my opinion, they shouldn't be doing that. So don't let them. So go and get those buy offers for your vehicle outright, and then go to them and say, hey, will you match this price for my trade-in? And see what they do from there. So you put yourself in a better position, if that makes sense, right from the beginning. Because I have seen people accept, an offer that's $4,000 less than what they should have, just because they kind of trick them into saying, hey, no, we're saving you this much in tax credit, for the vehicle that you're getting. So don't let them do that to you. And then by using this tactic, you're kind of helping prevent that from happening. So there you have it, guys. And I was kind of a long-winded there, and I didn't really plan this discussion too well beforehand, but I hope some of you can find some use out of this. I guess the final thing I'll throw out in this video is trying to find a vehicle and trying to pay MSRP for it. That is wicked tough right now for vehicles that are desirable. The TRD Pros are it, as well as the Raptor, especially 37 package, the TRX, especially limited, not the TRX itself, but like the Ignition Edition. It was impossible to find one at MSRP. You're going to be paying at the very least 10 grand over for one of those. But what I do for that, and I've talked about this plenty in my channel before, so feel free to check out my older videos, but what I encourage you to do is to start in a 3-state radius around you, and then start cold calling the dealerships. And this is the part that always kind of gets people like, wait, what? Cold call? What if they don't even have my vehicle that I want there? It's not even on their website. Why would I call them? I will always encourage you to do that. So still cold call them. Say, hey, I am interested in a 2022 4Runner TRD Pro, looking for a Lime Rush. Do you have one inbound? And that is always the golden question to ask. If you have one inbound, more often than not, it's not going to be on their website just yet, but they can look into their system and see if they do happen to have one coming in the next 2 or 3 months. They can see it that far out, sometimes even further out. They'll know if they have one coming. And then if they say yes, you're likely the first person to have called about it. And that's going to be your best opportunity to say, hey, awesome, no, super excited about that. Can I kind of reserve that? Can I put a deposit or holding deposit with you on that? And likely they will say yes to do that. And you just got first dibs on it, first grab at it. So does that always help you get MSRP? No, but at least you get a first stab at it. And you can always try to get the MSRP, of course. But like I said, now is the most difficult time to do that for these particular vehicles. So I could probably talk a lot more on that topic too, but for the sake of not making this a 20-minute video, I'm going to wrap it up there. But let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what's worked for you. And like I said, hopefully this is helpful for a few of you out there. Appreciate you watching. Until next time.